successful season, like I mentioned. You
Yeah.
got 2 pro wins. How did you feel going into that first show at Europa? How confident were you that you were going to win that show?
Do you know what? It was really weird. It was like a forced. I was convincing myself I could win it. You know, in my head, I was always like, yeah, probably, you know, maybe I'm at that level where I'm probably a top 3 guy now, because I got top 3 obviously the year before in a couple of shows. So to see yourself as a winner is very hard because you haven't won before as a pro. But I just kept slapping myself around the face saying, mate, like there's got to be a turning point here. Like you have to win at some point, and why not now? You've just spent a year working, working, let's say, your bollocks off to be better than last year, and last year you got third. So why can't you win? So it was just a constant reminder to myself that you can win, and you know, even if I didn't really believe it, I'd mutter it to myself, I'd say it to myself, and before long you convince yourself you can.
Yeah.
And that was really it. Like the only thing that kind of threw a spanner in the works, but it didn't really, because I was so kind of hyped, was when they said Ramy was going to do it. But you know, I was filming for Redcon at the time, and I was quite honestly saying, yeah, bring Ramy, I don't care. You know, I was like, whatever. Like, I'm not saying I could beat Ramy, but you have to, like, you can't just go like you can't turn into a wussy just because someone who's very good is going to turn up.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
So even when he was announced, I was like, no, I can still win this. I can still win this.
Yeah.
He went on to win the Olympia that year, but hey, you know.
You know what? Ramy's coming off before and come in 5th or 6th at the Olympia as well. So you're
Well,
pretty much saying that he could come in 8th at the Olympia if he comes in really often.
yeah.
Say you can't get top 8. Really, at this point, I think most people are predicting you top 8 at the 2021 Mr. Olympia. So when you think about it, if he's off and you're on, it's game on.
Well, this is what I was thinking. You know, I was at the Arnold with. I was fortunately at the Arnold with Luke at the beginning of. I think it was the beginning of 2020. Yeah. So yeah, like March time. And I saw Ramy come third, and I was there, and I wasn't super impressed. Like I was impressed, but not like, oh, he's unbeatable.
Yeah.
So that's why when I went into Spain, I was like, you know what? I've seen his last package. I'm not going to be deterred because he was beaten by Bonac and Dexter, and this is Dexter who's now 50 years old and not as good as he used to be. So there is hope, you know. And I was just looking at it logically, because obviously bodybuilding is about logic as well. You have to weigh up what was someone's last presentation, what's your best presentation, how much progress have you made, how much have they made, where are they at in their career. Like you, as a competing athlete and a bodybuilder who's still, you know, in this, those things cross your mind every day, because it is a competition at the end of the day. You are constantly evaluating your place in this bodybuilding, and I was doing that daily, and I was keeping an eye on how he was looking. You know, and with how he was looking and how everything was going on, I can say I wasn't deterred. I was more worried about Raf, I think, because I'm a very big fan of Raf and his physique. I think he's got beautiful shape. I think he's an incredible bodybuilder. So when I knew he was doing it, he was more the name. I was like, you know what? Although I picked him the year before at Spain, he wasn't at his best. And that was probably the guy I was most concerned about.
Yeah. And that's Rafael Brandao, for those who don't know who you're talking about as well. And the other thing about Big Ramy and Dexter Jackson, which you mentioned, Big Ramy obviously got beaten by Dexter in March. Go fast forward to December, Dexter falls to 9th and Big Ramy wins the Olympia. So it's amazing what can happen show to show. Like,
yeah, it's not like there's no one now that's Ronnie Coleman in the 2000s and the 90s. You know, there's no one that's like guaranteed or like Phil Heath. So that's why, like, I feel like this current crop of bodybuilders, I'm relatively confident going into the Olympia, because I just feel like no one's guaranteed to win.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of really good guys, like the top 6 to 8, but there's no one real like Ramy. If he comes in really great shape, he is very, very tough to beat.
Yeah.
But even at the Olympia just gone, like many will say, you know, there were harder guys in that Olympia lineup, obviously, but he was just obviously had the size and his best condition, probably, or one of his best conditions to date. So
yeah.
Hope you guys just enjoyed that short clip from my full interview with James Hollingshead on Desktop Bodybuilding Clips. The full interview is actually on Desktop Bodybuilding, the original channel. The link is in the description below, or you can click the card just above for that full interview with James Hollingshead. Also, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell button for Desktop Bodybuilding Clips. It's got all the best clips from basically all the best interviews and podcasts on the Desktop Bodybuilding original channel. So that's it for me. For Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding Clips, we are out.